Welcome to the Audacious OBM podcast. I'm your host, Leanne, creator of OBM Academy and founder of Audacious Empires. Each week, my crew and I will explore all things building and scaling an exceptional OBM business. This podcast is here to share how you can charge premium prices, have clients lining up to work with you, and never have to work another weekend again. You can have a thriving OBM business, working with the clients you want, when you want, and charging the price you want. It's time to banish mediocre and become the standout, sought after OBM you know you can be. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Audacious OBM. I'm your host, Leanne, and today we are digging in to how to deal with angry clients. Okay. So I've had people ask me before, how do you go about managing difficult clients and difficult conversations? And so I've had to spend quite a bit of time thinking about this and actually analyzing what it is that I do. So let me tell you a little story. Last year, maybe in the second half of last year, we're working away, my team and I. We're all doing our different things. And then an email lands in our inbox. And Chloe says to everyone, guys, listen to this, and proceeds to read this email. So we're listening, and the office is really quiet, and the client is having a good old whinge. So Chloe finishes reading, and then all of a sudden, everybody is saying, we need to say this. Maybe we need to do this, including me. We're all just reacting to what's in this email. And then I walked away to get coffee, got inside. I've come back. And as I've come back, I've thought, this client is just reacting. They're reacting to something else that's happened. And my team has read this email. We've gone straight into research and investigation mode. What is it that happened here? Is this something that we even should be reading? Like, why are you sending us this email to complain about this? What is our role here? And you can see how everything puts a spanner in the works. Everybody stops. We're all scrambling. And in the midst of all of that, I have realized this is a reaction. Now, luckily, I had actually just been updating the module in OBM Academy that's all about difficult conversations and giving clients what they really need, not necessarily what you just see. I paused and I had all of this information rolling around in my head, and I found it so funny because it's like, Leanne, you've just been talking to OBMs about this exact thing. Today, I have 8 tips for you. 8 tips on how to gently deal with angry clients and difficult conversations. The first one is, do not react to their reaction. Stop and take a breath. So in my team's scramble of, why are they saying this and what has happened, and we've all gone into a fluster, we're just reacting to something that has landed. And here's the thing, when you react to something, it's unexpected. For you to react is a quick response to something. And so you're not really thinking properly. You need to actually take a breath and think about whatever the situation is that you're in, regardless of whether it's an email from a client or something completely different in life. Number 2, redefine your purpose. So when we've received an email like that, we need to remember that our purpose for reading the email and our purpose for responding to the email is not to defend anyone. You never should read an email with the pretense that this is just an attack on me. This is just someone saying that I've done the wrong thing, or that someone else has done the wrong thing, or it's accusatory or whatever. Because let's be honest, email has no tone, and there's so many other things that can come into play here. When we're reading things like this and when we're responding, our purpose needs to be to reestablish security. Usually, if you've got an email or are having a conversation where it feels a little bit like, hang on, are they trying to say I've done the wrong thing? It's not actually about you or what you've done. There's something that is underlying that the person that you're communicating with needs security around. They're concerned about something. If they weren't concerned, they wouldn't have brought it up. Number 3 is look beneath the surface. What is the problem really? Or what is the question that they're asking you really? Because just like you, people can be quite intimidated to have conversations that make them uncomfortable. They also might not be super confident having to ask for help with something because it makes them feel like they're not the most knowledgeable. People find it hard to ask for help. People find it hard to go, oh, I don't know how to do this, but these people will know. And sometimes in their own stuff, they get stuck there. And so then when they come back to you to go, I need help, can someone just show me this thing? It seems like they're having a go. But really, they've had this whole internal dialogue already. And it has nothing to do with you. So we want to work out what the problem is really. Because the reaction that you're seeing is just that. It's a reaction at their action to an occurrence based on something. It's a symptom. So it's not the actual source. And that's why usually when you get some kind of email or conversation that has a negative connotation, there's something it's stemming from. And that's why I say don't react to their reaction. I'm not reacting to their action. I'm reacting to their reaction because it reminds me that there's a reason they're doing that. They're reacting to something else. And if I can work out the something else, this will all get resolved really calmly. Number 4, think about who the problem relates to. Is it even you? Because this will change how you manage the entire situation. Sometimes you get the brunt of a reaction, but it actually has nothing to do with you. It has to do with something someone else did. And you just happen to be the person who usually has the answers. So in this situation, my team and I are pulling all of this apart, and it actually had nothing to do with any of us. It was aimed at somebody else. But we've been included because we usually have the ability to go, if this is what you're needing, here you go. Or this is why they did that, to settle the issue. So it's really important to think about, hang on a sec, what is my role here? Because it might not be your role here is for me to yell at you or be annoyed at you because something is broken or didn't go the way I expected. So we want to keep a cool head. 5, when you're dealing with things like this, when you get an email that lands in your inbox like that, measure the level of input needed. In this one scenario, the email was read, everybody stopped. Then we had a big conversation. Then we thought about other things. Imagine how much time we wasted collaboratively. It might not have been much individually, but that's an hour of our time just because we all decided to talk about it and go, and have our little panic. And really, it wasn't even for us. So I could have just saved myself an hour by going, not quite sure about this. I'll deal with it later and see what happens. So we want to measure how much time we're going to put in discussing with other people and investigating what happened and when, right? You don't want to spend hours gathering facts and information for something that's not really a priority or doesn't matter. It just seems like something at the moment, or you've just perceived it a certain way, not that the client has. You're just wasting precious time. So I really want you to think about the impact of whatever the conversation pertains to. Number 6, take an outsider perspective and come up with a solution without going down the rabbit hole of here's a 27-step pathway to fix this. You might read that email and go, okay, I can see that you might have perceived it as they're really annoyed because they can never find the podcast episode that they're looking for, and they've asked 57,000 times and I can't believe it's not in my inbox, and can someone just give me the link? You might have nothing to do with the process of how this person gets access to podcasts or where they're saved or anything. But you might also know exactly where all the episodes are. Instead of reacting and being annoyed, just email back and go, hey, saw your email. I'm guessing you probably want to know where the latest podcast is. It's here, and where the stats are that show how it's performing. These are here. Let me know if you need anything else. And instead of going down the pathway of trying to justify and think about all the things, you've just given them exactly what they needed, and it's taken 2 minutes. So it's taking all the drama out and looking for what it is that they actually need right now. Number 7, don't be passive aggressive. So here's the thing with passive aggression. It's easy. It's quite easy to be passive aggressive and then to hide behind the fact that we haven't yelled, and I don't understand why anybody could really point some blame at the way I'm behaving because I haven't done anything that's overtly aggressive. But passive aggression is just another form of aggression, and it will just make it worse. Adding in snarky comments or being sarcastic with situations like this just blows it up, except when you behave that way, you've behaved the wrong way as well. So all of a sudden, if someone else has been behaving in a manner that's incorrect, you've just put yourself in the firing line straight with them because you're not dealing with it in an assertive manner. You're still being aggressive and snarky in a different way. And it doesn't make anybody feel good, and it will not make the situation better, and it won't make you feel good. At the end of the day, you might feel like you've had your 2 cents of I showed them, but it doesn't really give you satisfaction. And it just means there's going to be another conversation that's had later. And number 8, if you get this email and it is a result of an error that you've made or something that you've done or not done, don't reply. Just pick up the phone and apologize. Don't beg. Do not beg. If you've made a mistake, you're a human being and we make mistakes. And if saying sorry and doing what you can to rectify the practical situation in front of you is not enough, then really, your client is a butt. That's the reality here. They're not very nice. They're not going to accept that humans make errors sometimes, and that you were a big enough person to go, hey, yep, that one was me, fixing it now. Like, they can either move on or they can fester and be annoyed about it. But I find that a lot of OBMs will go into that begging for forgiveness point. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've done this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What can I do? I'll do anything. And then the next thing and the next thing. And that's the narrative they always get. Whereas if you can step back a little bit, fix the situation, and then put in place things so that that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore, you're going to get a lot better of a response. And you're going to have much more ownership over your role. And then everybody can move forward like grown-ups, which is the aim of the game here. Now, if you follow the 8 different things that I've said in this episode, usually what will happen is you'll be dealing with your angry client in a way that diffuses the situation, which is the aim of the game. It's to recognize that someone is unhappy about something, that there are multiple perspectives as to what it is and why that could be, and working out a way to give the person what they really need so they can walk away feeling good and not have that frustration anymore. I hope that that helps you so that next time you get an email like that or have to have a conversation like that, you're not panicked and you have a little bit of a roadmap on how to handle it. Because if we have steps to take, we can remove part of the emotion. And that's the hardest bit, is removing the emotion from these situations. But if we have a little list, well, there's no emotion in a list. It's just a list. That can help our head get in the game in that way. Hope you found it helpful. If you are an OBM and you are looking to up your OBM game, Google OBM Academy. Check it out. That is where I share the ins and outs of everything I have learned as an OBM so that you can be a rock star too. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of The Audacious OBM. We hope this episode has helped you move forward in your journey to being a standout and sought after OBM. If you enjoyed the episode, take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to help other OBMs just like you. If you're interested in learning more about OBM Academy and all that it offers, head over to audaciousempires.com to get all the juicy details. We'll be back next week.